The Rivers State politicking space is becoming more intense, and at this time, the information and news is no longer pleasant to Nyesom Wike's faction, following the fact that the nullification of Chinda as the candidate of APC is what is looming. Sincerely speaking, the faction of the APC under Beke's faction has now come out to hold the press conference stating clearly that every primary election that took place that authentified and gave Chinda the flag bearer a bearing ticket of the APC in Rivers State is null and void. Remember, there are two factions of the APC in Rivers State. Of Tony Okocha and the faction of Beke. They have been lingering in court, and there is a recent court decision. Now, the faction of Beke came out recently and stated clearly that they are the authentic, validated members of the party, and so therefore they have nullified all the primary election that took place on the part of Tony Okocha. I'm going to be showing you what they stated recently and what is actually happening. Now, this is knocking off the coalition of Nyesom Wike, because remember vividly that Beke is not inclusive in the coalition of Nyesom Wike. Meanwhile, Tony Okocha is on the faction of this coalition. Sincerely speaking, this is exactly what is happening. And so many persons are stating that if this lingers so much, then there is issue. It's either the APC will no longer be in the ballot come 2027 election based on the court order and everything that is actually happening. I'm going to be showing you all of that. So many persons are stating, no wonder similar Fubara withdrew, or no wonder he kept calm, no wonder a lot of things are happening, and no wonder the brother used the NDC to probably buy a ticket, and at the end of the day, Lulu Briggs is now the candidate of the NDC. So what is happening? Because currently the PDP has its own faction, they have issues. The APC has its own faction, they have issues. So it is now left with the Labour Party or probably the NDC. I'm going to be showing you all of that. But before I do that, sincerely speaking, the former governor of Ekiti State came out recently and made a statement regarding insecurity and other vices affecting the country. And when he made this particular statement, which I'm going to be playing the video for you, the brother came out and countered that particular statement, being Isaac Fayose. I'm going to be showing you what he stated. Watch, and when we come back, we'll continue.
To Oyo State, very quickly, by this, I want to say to you, before you get to the president in the hierarchy of leadership and governance, there is local government, there is states. States have security votes. They have people that are supposed to be working. They have Amotekun. They have all sorts of names. When you ask governors now, they will say, we are not chief security officers. That is incorrect. That was why I was giving an example of myself. And I want to say to you, in your state, I have strong belief, I may be wrong, that this sometimes can be orchestrated. The governor of your state had his nomination, the nomination of his candidate in the face of this abduction. He did not take any action. No steps were taken. It was after all those nominations that he went to the family to visit them, that he brought somebody out, started crying, the husband of one of the women. It is sad. I can sometimes believe that this was orchestrated in a way, I'm not saying totally, by the government of Oyo State to blackmail President Tinubu, in a way.
In this video, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, they kidnapped people in my own state, Ekiti State. And you are supporting the governor there. Why didn't you tell the governor of Ekiti that you are collecting security votes? Why can't you protect Ekiti people, my brother? Why? Why? You are losing. People are looking at you like, what is this man turning to, my brother? For crying out loud. How? So you meet people that have been crying in APC states, Borno, Katsina, Samfara, Niger, Kwara. Their governors, they pocket their security votes. My brother, Abba, please, if you don't have anything to say, my brother, please stay quiet like any other former governors. It is not by force to be relevant by talking. This is not right. So people that died in Ekiti that were kidnapped, so it's because your bow that you are supporting he's been pocketing the security vote. That's why Abi is the one that buy them. My brother, fear God, fear God.
I haven't seen exactly what Isaac Fayose has stated, countering what the elder brother stated. He was so much ashamed of his brother making that particular statement, stating clearly that insecurity is not to be to be encouraged, and at this time no one is to be blamed for it, but the government is there to protect lives, properties, and make sure the dividends of democracy gets to the people. Now, on the other hand, as you could see on your screen, this is quite and clear touching to Nyesom Wike's camp, because it is now hitting haywire. According to Daily Trust information, as you could see, it said fresh twist in Rivers APC as reinstated faction sacks Chinda, Wike's preferred candidate. So many persons are inquisitive of knowing the reason why this particular faction of Beke has taken this route. Are they no longer in line? Is a court order making this validated, or what is actually happening? Now, before we go into details, remember vividly that Chinda is still currently, as you can see on your screen, the minority leader of APC in the House of Representatives under the National Assembly. At the same time, the APC flag bearer of the APC on the faction of Tony Okocha. And this time, so many persons are stating, where then did he resign? Because vividly, he is the minority leader of the PDP, and now he is the candidate of the flag bearer in APC with APC flag. So he's dwelling in both parties with different portfolio. In full details, the reinstated leadership of the APC in Rivers State has declared all the nominations in the just concluded primaries of the party in the state as null and void. The primaries have produced Kingsley Chinda as an ally to Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike as governorship candidate following the withdrawal of Governor Similaye Fubara. Other allies of the minister also emerged candidates of the APC for 2027 general election. Now, according to Daily Trust, they stated, Daily Trust has reported how Justice Efrida Williams of the Court of Appeal Port Harcourt Division had on Friday upheld the decision of the Rivers State High Court nullifying the congresses that produced Chief Tony Okocha as the chairman of the APC in the state. In a statement on Monday, Darlington, spokesman of the reinstated faction led by Emeka Beke, has said based on the judgment, all nominations, representations, communications, documentations, including decisions reached on behalf of Rivers State chapter of the APC between December 20, 2024 and May 29, 2026 have no effect on the party. He also urged the Rivers State Independent National Electoral Commission, being the ROSIEC, to withdraw the certificate of returns issued to candidates from Okocha's faction after the last year local government election in the state and present to the candidates of his faction in line with the appeal court judgment. Daily Trust gathered that candidates produced by Okocha's faction are currently running the affairs of the local government council in the state. He said, recall that Justice Obomanu courageously acted in defense of the dignity of the court and the sanity of the rule of law by stamping disciplinary authorities of the court in nullifying all progresses purportedly conducted in Rivers State by Alhaji Danduje in flagrant disobedience of the valid court order. As it stands today, only a high court can set aside Justice Obamanu's order, which the Court of Appeal ruling delivered by Justice Williams had rightfully sustained. For prosperity's sake, there are only two possible scenarios that can play out. One, the court order fresh congresses in Rivers State to mitigate injuries suffered by the plaintiff on this suit. Two, court sees no injuries in what the APC have done and rejects prayers of plaintiff. Whether the court chooses option A or B, above, one thing is constant, and that is the fact that the congresses of November 23rd, 2024 and November 30th, 2024 have been buried. What then are the consequences of the ruling party of the APC in Rivers State? And now so many persons have reacted that this is what it is. The Rivers State chapter of our party has increasingly become an inclusive political association, and this is what it is at this time. Now, the faction of Beke is actually stating that
therefore, they have no right to represent the party in whatever capacity. In context, and generally speaking, the following are some of the consequences of this case. These are the consequences. Number one, that all nominations, representations, communications, documentations including decisions reached on behalf of the Rivers State chapter of the All Progressive Congress between December the 20th to Friday 29th May 2026, with the seal or imprimatur of members of the legal executives, their agents, assigns or privies, is to the extent of the subsistence of the orders of court illegal, null, void, and of no effect. Number two, that as of today, there is no other legally constituted executives of the APC in Rivers State, existing outside the one led by Chief Emeka WIKE. Every lawful step shall now be taken to demand for the declaration, recognition, and swearing in of all local government chairmen and vice chairmen duly and validly nominated by the WIKE-led executives.
The faction of WIKE is actually stating that on no account should the faction of Tony Okocha, both on the local government election that was held and down to the candidacy of Chinda, to be validated. This is exactly the political scenario happening in Rivers State. So many persons have reacted that probably no wonder Similai Fubara will withdrew, and no wonder Nyesom Wike, having seen that there is a faction in the PDP, having known that there is a faction in the APC, he is now bringing a coalition of Rainbow Coalition in Rivers State. So therefore, if the APC does not work and if the PDP does not work, there is now the Labour Party, which is inclusive in that particular fashion. And as if that is not enough, also remember clearly that he made a statement that no candidate has been chosen, that the coalition of the Rainbow Coalition is going to come together and pick up a candidate. So probably he's delaying to see the court scenarios or the court final judgments on these particular cases. On the part of Chinda, he is a minority leader under the PDP in the House of Representatives and a candidacy under APC as a governorship candidate in ahead of 2027 election. So dual portfolio in different political parties and just one man. So many persons have stated that Nyesom Wike, this is not the time for you to see the real politics, because everything has been playing out has actually shown what is happening. And on the part of Similai Fubara, he has kept calm. He withdrew from the race. The brother contested under the NDC, and Lulu Briggs is now the candidate. So nobody know in quote if Similai Fubara is probably working alongside secretly with Lulu Briggs to make sure other candidates emerge, knowing fully well that this is the turn of the riverine area. I decided to bring all of this to your view. What is your take regarding everything that has been discussed here? Don't forget to share, like, and also hit the subscribe button. Express yourself in the comment section. What is your view regarding all the political space happening now? Turn on the notification bell and click on the like button so let's get informations promptly when we drop them here. What are your advices to these both parties and the faction in Rivers State? Don't forget to share. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.